Good evening, or afternoon, not evening yet. I'm rushing my time here. Everybody doing well? Come on now. You got your bellies full. Don't fall asleep on me. Everybody good? All right, good deal. I met some new people after the opening ceremony, and that's what I wanted to do, and thank those that are newcomers here to conference, and they seem psyched up and pumped up and ready to go. Some of them have attended some pre-conference classes and good feedback, so good deal, good deal. Love it. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 1 o'clock on Thursday, June the 10th at the Columbia Convention Center for our annual business meeting. And welcome all you back for evening of business, and then after the business we'll have the breakouts with the officer section, the life safety and members benefit. So as I said earlier, a relationship is a big thing with the fire service, and passionate that we can build relationship and have partners in the fire service to help us get things accomplished. And it's always good to have South Carolina LLR and State Fire that are partners with us and members of State Fire Service that helps keep things going. And I tell you, we're truly blessed to have a phenomenal fire academy, to be able to put on classes and actually host some of our classes we had out there, the engine school this week and some of the other ones. So we're blessed to have that facility close by to use and utilize. And I wouldn't be, with Chief Jones doing a great job at LLR and the staff that he has at the Fire Academy, we greatly appreciate that from the association. But on top of that, Miss Emily Farr, Director of LLR, has been outstanding to work with and partner with or be a part of this association to help us through and really know and love the fire service. If you hadn't had a chance to meet her, and say thank you or share a word with her, please do so, because I tell you, we're blessed to have LLR side by side with us and working with us day in and day out, and I can't say enough about what Emily Farr does. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Chief Jones and Miss Emily Farr to the stage, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Chief Jones and I are pleased to be here this afternoon to give you an update on what we have going on out at State Fire. As Chief Minnick mentioned, it's a pivotal division of the Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, and over the last almost 5 years now, I've truly enjoyed getting to know this part of our agency and what all of you do and what we can do to support you. And we've got great things going on out at State Fire that we've done over the last couple of years, and great things to come as well. Our Fire Safe South Carolina, the flagship program of our Community Risk Reduction Program, in partnership with the Fire Chiefs Association and Firefighters Association, was recently recognized in the Firehouse magazine, national magazine, recognizing all of its accomplishments and how we're doing it. At the Fire Academy, we just finished huge renovations to the dorm. Jonathan keeps saying that it's now more like a Hampton Inn, right? Like a really nice Hampton Inn. If you've been there before, we've gotten rid of all the cinder blocks and all of that. It's a much more comfortable place to be. And a huge renovation to our fire station. A second floor has been built with classroom space. So if you haven't been out to the Fire Academy in the last year or so, I strongly encourage you to do so. Come out, take a tour, and see what we have. And we have many more projects on the way. And then, of course, our Emergency Response Task Force continues to be busier and busier every year as it gains reputation not just in South Carolina, but nationally. It's becoming known as the team that you want to call in as backup when a state needs additional help. Even the FEMA teams know that South Carolina's ERTF, our Task Force 1 and our Palmetto Incident Support Team are the ones to call if you need help with an emergency response. And a lot of that is due to Jonathan's leadership and his team and everything that we've been able to pull together out there. But, you know, speaking of teams, it's really that team effort that I think has gotten us to where we are over these last few years, of recognizing how working with all of you, working with the association, and hearing what your needs are and what we can do to work together to truly support the fire service. And that was really shown this year with our budget requests that the agency made to the General Assembly. We added in our budget request an ask of over $3 million to support the firefighter cancer benefit plan. Got that statute passed, put it in law last year, but needed the funding. When we realized that funding might not be there statutorily, we added that into our budget to make sure that we could ask the General Assembly additional support of, please, this is a really important cause, help us get this funding. Also, getting us $850,000 in funds to help our emergency response team get new equipment purchased. It's been 20 some odd years since we've replaced some of that equipment. So we're very excited to have been given those funds by the General Assembly. And then also asking for the $250,000 to support the PTSD program that I know the Firefighters Association's FAST team has long had a great reputation and execution of providing that service to the fire service of PTSD and fallen firefighters. And we want to make sure that funding was always there. It had previously only been sort of added to the budget each year as sort of an add-on that could just disappear at any time. So now, thankfully, through the budget cycle that the General Assembly has passed, we've received all of those. We now have recurring dollars for the PTSD program, recurring dollars for the firefighter cancer benefit plan, and then those funds to help us with emergency response task force. So I really want to thank the association for their continued partnership with us, of keeping us posted, letting us work with them, hear what you all need, and helping all these things be accomplished. And I know Jonathan's got some details too, if I haven't taken all your thunder. I'll let you jump in with further details.
Yeah, thank you, Director Farr. And you know, she mentioned a team. I am blessed with just a phenomenal team of people at State Fire that not only embrace but embody our mission to be the state's focal point for service and support to save lives and property. But I'm gonna tell you that collectively we are blessed. And when I say collectively, I mean you all, the state's fire service, I mean the citizens of South Carolina. We are blessed with collectively a team that honestly is unrivaled anywhere in the United States. I've had the opportunity, you know, obviously as State Fire Marshal, even prior to that, to travel the country. And there are very few state fire services that have the unity and the cohesion. You look at what the Firefighter Cancer Coalition did over the past couple years at getting legislation passed to create a firefighter cancer benefit plan in South Carolina. What that group, along with the Firefighters Association and all the other associations, have done with funding for firefighter cancer, for urban search and rescue, what those groups collectively have done with Fire Safe South Carolina, which is truly, if you travel the country, Fire Safe South Carolina is the buzz of what a statewide community risk reduction plan looks like. And the reason it's successful is that you own it, not we. This isn't the Fire Marshal's office, it's not the Firefighters Association. Collectively, we as the South Carolina Fire Service, and even greater than that, the communities in South Carolina own and responsible for Fire Safe South Carolina. So we truly are blessed with a team that is unrivaled by any other place in the United States. But I do have some important details I want to share with you. We've had so much going on, like Director Farr said, and there's so much to cover, and I know I've got just a little bit of time, but I want to hit some high points that I think you are going to be most interested in. The first one is the V-Safe grant program. This past year, we had a little over, just under $5.2 million in grant funds to give away to eligible volunteer and combination fire departments. We received 203 grant applications from 42 out of 46 counties. That's tremendous. The total requests were over $5.7 million in actual requests. Remember, we had about $5.2 million in funding to give away. So we were able to award 182 grants to fire departments in 40 different counties, so right at $5.2 million. We estimate that going forward, again, thanks to your efforts in legislation to get the money doubled in V-Safe, we estimate going forward that we're going to have about $2.2 million a year in V-Safe grant funds for your fire departments that are eligible. So that's about 74 grants a year that we'll be able to fund. So this next grant cycle, which will start spring of '22, We'll have about $2.2 million, enough for 74 grants. Here's the good news. So I can't see, so I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but I want you to think about it. If your fire department has not applied for a V-Safe grant in the past 2 years, I want you to think about who you are. Because at $2.2 million, we have enough to fund about 74 V-Safe grants at $30,000 a year. But over the past 2 years, we've had 232 departments receive V-Safe grants. You're only eligible to get it one time every 3 years. So by our estimations, there are only about 68 departments that are eligible for next year, and we have funds for 74. So if you have never applied for a V-Safe grant or you hadn't applied in a while, I encourage you, put in the effort, fill out the application, and I'm actually going to be teaching a V-Safe workshop Saturday afternoon here at the conference, so I encourage you to take that. It's full of some pointers and some ways to making sure you understand how the program works and some tips of how to write a successful grant. So that's very, very important. The second big thing that I think we want to cover is the Firefighter Cancer Health Benefit Plan. The funding for the Firefighter Cancer Health Benefit Plan was included in both the House and the Senate versions of the budget, so that's a good sign that it will probably pass and be included in the overall budget bill that gets approved probably in the next week or so. The invitation for bids for that cancer policy actually went out the end of last week, and will close probably the end of this month, if not the middle of July. That process is not managed by us, it's managed through state procurement, but it could be the middle of July by the time it closes. Here's the hard part, and fire chiefs especially, here's where I need you to listen. The hard part is proving eligibility. The eligibility to participate in this health insurance plan, this cancer insurance plan, is defined by law. So by law, an applicant for a benefit has to prove they meet the eligibility requirements by law. It's not that difficult. Here's where you come in, Fire Chief. It is very important that you go and check the accuracy of your roster information in the fire portal. Birthdays are correct. Date of hires are correct. Date of retirement or separation is correct, because whoever gets this insurance policy, they may be using your data from the fire portal to prove eligibility. Again, the hire date, the birth date, the termination, separation, retirement date. Please, 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 please go check the accuracy. We have people in the fire portal that their birth date is 1901. We know that's not right, right, Susan? But that's the default date. So I know that people we didn't have a fire portal back then, so they weren't in there. So please, 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 and if you have problems, you can contact our office. Susan, who is the queen of the fire portal, is on the phone constantly. She'll be glad to help you, but it is very, very important that you update that information. That also is very important for us in getting a price for this policy, to be able to give prospective bidders an accurate number of firefighters that are eligible by law. So please, chiefs, check on that. On Saturday at 10 o'clock in this room, we're going to be recognizing 57 fire departments from 2019 and 80 fire departments from 2020 as Fire Safe South Carolina communities. Tremendous, great opportunity. But that also is only about a third of the fire departments in South Carolina. So there's a lot of room for others to get involved and become part of that. I hope to see you there. I hope that other departments will get involved and participate in what is truly the nation's model community risk reduction program. Following community risk reduction, I want to give you just an update on fire fatalities. After finishing 2019 with what was truly a record low number of fire fatalities, 72, that was the lowest number of fire fatalities we've had in a year in recent history. Last year, in 2020, we had 99, which is a 37.5% increase. A lot of that was due to more people were at home. You're spending more time at home. We've already, in 2021, had 50 fire fatalities. That's a 25% increase over our 5-year average. Cooking, electrical, smoking, those are the 3 leading causes when we can determine the most probable cause. The bottom line is we have accomplished so much with Fire Safe South Carolina and community risk reduction in your backyards, but we still got a lot of work to do. A brief update on the Fire Academy. Best thing I can tell you is go to the website, because everything you need to know is on the website, but we've done, most of you are aware, especially if you're a chief or a training officer, we've restructured the Fire Academy regions. We've broke them into smaller regions. We've added additional regional offices, and we are currently fully staffed in our regional offices with regional coordinators, 7 new regional coordinators. So make sure that you go to the website. You can find their contact information. They need to get to know you. You need to get to know them. But what this does is put our regional offices closer to you, the customer, and that also makes sure that we're providing better customer service to you. So please make sure you go to our website. All the contact information is there. Also, our online course catalog. You remember the old course catalogs we used to mail out? That is available online. So if you are looking for classes or looking for class descriptions, all of that is available through our website. And then finally, just as a high point for the Fire Academy, because it was the first for most of us that are working there now, is we just successfully passed our reaccreditation visit through IFSAC. So we have our full reaccreditation through IFSAC, and just got that letter in just this past week. We're going to be going out to Utah in the fall to receive our official reaccreditation certificate, and we're really excited about that. So again, kudos to our team who really worked hard to pull all of that together, even in a pandemic environment. And then the final program area I want to mention is our emergency response. Every year I have stood up here, I've talked about how the previous year was the busiest year we've ever had in firefighter mobilization and emergency response. Well, guess what? 2020 was the busiest year we have ever had. I don't know whether it's the self-fulfilling prophecy, but every year we're getting busier and busier. Last year, Task Force 1, our state urban search and rescue team, deployed twice to Louisiana for Hurricanes Laura and Sally. Our incident support team, which is part of State Fire, deployed 4 times to Louisiana for different hurricanes. There were tons of mobilizations in the state, some lasting over several days. There were multiple in-state task force missions where we deployed to the upstate for tornadoes. We deployed down to Hampton County for tornadoes. HART missions, a lot of those, of course, are up in the upstate. But last year was truly, even during a pandemic, when people are shut up in their houses, there were a lot of people who weren't staying in their houses. And we spent a lot of time on the road. So again, just a tremendous program. And of course, the Task Force 1 is made up of you. It's volunteers from and fire departments that support them. So I want to encourage you. Thank you to the fire departments that support us through providing members for the USAR team and through participating in firefighter mobilization. We're always looking for additional members, and we're always looking to add people to the mobilization call-out list. So again, you all are an extension of State Fire's mission, because part of our mission is to save lives and property, which is what your mission is back at home. So we really look at our relationship with the South Carolina Fire Service as kind of a symbiotic relationship. We're an extension of your mission. We serve and support you so you can save lives and property, but you're also an extension of ours because we're here to support and serve you. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you both. And again, you can see the relationship we have with State Fire and LLR. Really appreciate the hard work that goes in every day, each and every day. At this time, we have a little special recognition. If I can get y'all to step to the right just a little bit more, so we'll get a picture. On behalf of the South Carolina State Firefighters Association, we know Emily Farr will actually put BDO pants on, go out in the field and with USAR and really get into the fire service and understand what they're doing. So we think you need a helmet to go along with that as well. So on behalf of the association, we really appreciate your energy and effort, and thank you. Appreciate you. All right, moving right along, Media Award. It is the intent of the association through its Media Award to recognize and salute our public relations team members that take our message to the public. Throughout the years, we have had partners in the media that offer service in proactive and constructive ways that were due recognition, and this year is no different. Our Media Award recipient for 2021 is Shell Remian with Fox Carolina. In her time in the South Carolina news venue, she has covered multiple events and has always represented journalism in a very professional manner. She has assisted the fire service with creating videos for both training and real-world programs such as fire prevention. She has helped to educate the public on the dangers of fire and smoke. She has covered exciting events with the fire service such as the new apparatus arrivals and the community events. She had the opportunity to cover one of the largest fire campaigns in South Carolina history, the Pinnacle Mountain Wildfire, where she not only kept the public informed of the fire progress for over 24 days, as well as sharing the experience and the risks encountered by firefighters. Through her work, she has unknowingly contributed to the recruitment and retention for fire departments throughout the coverage area. Please help us welcome to the stage and congratulate Fox Carolina's Shell Remian.
I was going to say, this is like very, can I adjust this here? Alrighty. Hey everybody, thank you so much for this award. I really appreciate it, and the South Carolina Firefighters Association, especially to Chief Matthew Littleton over at Easley Fire. He's been incredible, and it's been amazing working with those guys day in and day out, but I just want to say thank you, and I think it's really neat that you guys have a connection with media. I think that's really unheard of nowadays, and I think you guys put a lot of weight into that, and it means a lot to all of us. But I'll make it brief, but essentially I have this signature phrase. They're probably going to laugh over there because they've heard it before, but I think it's funny how firefighters would rather run into a burning building or a burning apartment or whatever than rather face an interview. It's like you hear the fire tones go off and it's like, let's go. But if I bring out my camera, it's like, oh, no, after you can interview. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been brave enough to face my lens and help tell these stories, whether it's to highlight a life-saving device that you guys need, or, to understand what it's like to be with families on those scenes. If we can even capture a sliver of what you guys go through and see, then I think that's the goal at the end of the day. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for all that you guys do, too. Thanks.
Next award is our Citizenship Award. There are numerous roles that persons can play in support of the fire service. How many of the roles belong to persons outside of line of suppression, firefighters, or members of the department? As such, we seek to recognize these persons who have gone above and beyond in the support of the fire service in the communities across the state. To do that, the Citizenship Award is presented to those that contribute valiantly in the preservation of life and property alongside our brothers and sister firefighters. The 2021 Citizenship Award is presented to Stephanie French with Beaufort County Emergency Management. In her nomination letter, the Burton Fire District shares the following. Due to the COVID-19, our fire district risk reduction outreach was crippled. School classes were either all virtual or a combination of face-to-face and virtual. Even in schools where instructions were taking place across the schools and students were extremely restricted. Providing in-person safety education was not possible. Determined to continue to reach at-risk students, Ionic Elementary School, the Burton Fire District turned to Mrs. French, the media specialist of Burton County Emergency Management. Mrs. French enthusiastically agreed to help bring our program to life through digital media. Through a combination of media resources provided by her office, her own creativity, and her skillful use of technology, she helped the Fire District provide 6 virtual safety videos that not only provided engaging and dynamic information on safety, but also met the South Carolina Department of Education's health and safety standards. Mrs. French's willingness and ability to not only help the Burton Fire District continue their community risk reduction programs during the time of lockdown, but she also helped fortify the partnership between the district and the schools by providing resources when teachers themselves desperately seek ways of providing instructions. Because of Mrs. French's willingness to not only help our district, but to do so in such a committed manner involving hours of video taking and editing, which enabled our district to stay safe, connected to our schools and students, thereby increasing safety education and knowledge to a target audience, and also increased our future community outreach possibilities. We feel Stephanie French is deserving. Please help me welcome to the stage and congratulate Mrs. Stephanie French, recipient of the 2021 South Carolina Firefighters Association Citizenship Award.
I stay behind the camera for a reason. Thank you.
Again, building relationships, all about relationships. Our next award, Educator of the Year, is the Clyde Spillers Educator of the Year Award. Clyde Red Spillers served with the Hanahan Lake City and Williamsburg County Fire Departments, and who was tirelessly dedicated to teaching firefighters around the state through the 70s and 80s at a level that was unheard of at the time. Clyde Spillers was instrumental in getting our first firefighter series training program going in the state and spent countless hours of teaching for no pay to firefighters and citizens around the state. Our presentation, named after Clyde Spillers, seeks to honor those dedicated individuals like Red who teach and strive to make South Carolina a better place. Over 40 years of service as a fire service instructor for the South Carolina Fire Academy, over 25,000 student contact hours of instructions, almost 1,700 classes, and just over 21,000 students trained over the 40-year period. What more could be said of an instructor that would motivate me to submit him for a very prestigious and honorable award? As superintendent of South Carolina Fire Academy, I am indeed honored to nominate veteran instructor Donald E. Wilkins for this year's Clyde B. Spiller Award. Don is a true gem to the National Fire Service and continues to be a very active instructor for the South Carolina Fire Academy. Don is a legend in our state, with the student given nicknames such as Father Fire, a Polished Stone, and Mafusa, the Lion King. Don has instructed nearly all areas of the Academy instructions through the years, and now most often requested to instruct fire instructor and fire officer related courses throughout the state of South Carolina. I cannot think of any instructor that has made more of a significant contribution to the training of firefighters that Don has in many years of faithful service as an instructor. Don began his firefighting career as a volunteer in 1968. I wasn't born yet. 1968, in Huntington, West Virginia, completing courses in mountain rescue and 48 hours basic fire school. Don moved to South Carolina for a job opportunity in 1973 and soon found himself as one of the founding members of Oak Grove Fire Department in Lexington County, South Carolina. Don soon attended 200 hours of firefighter training from 1974 to 1979. Don became an instructor in 1979, and after completing the 60-hour, 2-week basic instructor course at the Fire Academy, South Carolina Fire Academy, Don was through the years in the capabilities of lieutenant, captain, training officer, and assistant chief, fire chief. Don maintained intense instructor involvement through the years, teaching firefighters locally in each department, and has served as well as instructing numerous corps of instructors for South Carolina Fire Academy. Don currently volunteers at Moncks Corner Fire Department, where he's been for 25 years, over 25 years. Don's passion has always been in the fire service, whether it is long hours teaching numerous courses for the betterment of his students and departments, or his personal service responding to calls and providing leadership to members. The over 25,000 student contact hours do not even include the hours upon hours Don has spent training members at his local department where he has served. At the South Carolina Fire Academy, Don has served on numerous curriculum development committees, serving as subject matter expert on various disciplines. Don has submitted subject matter for curriculum that has been developed over the years for the South Carolina Fire Academy courses that include numerous NFPA standards, update, modernization of fire rescue, driver operator, instructor, and officer courses. Don has developed lesson plans, instructional materials, job performance tasks, and instructor development workshop for most South Carolina Fire Academy courses over the years. Don has also taught pilot sessions for new courses before they are released for instructors to verify and validate the new curriculum. All of these courses have been heavily used by students both inside and outside South Carolina, making an unmeasurable contribution to training firefighters for over 40 years. Don was the first South Carolina Fire Academy called upon to deliver modern ICS training to members of the Charleston Fire Department in South Carolina after SOPA Superstore in 2007, resulting in 9 line-of-duty deaths. Don normally knew challenging this training would be after such a tragic event and being emotionally attached to many of the department members himself, willingly accepted the challenge, knowing the benefit it would provide. Don's heart of service over self is evident in every class he instructs and every student he makes contact with. Don has a very professional reputation in and out of South Carolina from his cheerful demeanor, his application of passion and wit in his instruction, his thorough knowledge and application of instructional subject matter, and his willingness to sign up to teach courses being offered both regionally and on-site at South Carolina Fire Academy. Don is the first person to help when it comes to instructional needs in our state, and the very last one to ever desire credit for what he has done. Don is faithful, passionate, knowledgeable, and dedicated to the instructional delivery in the fire service. It is time that Don receives the recognition for his significant lifelong contribution to the betterment of the fire service and for the countless lives he has touched through the years of faithful service and instruction. Don, even today, continues to display this exemplary passion and his gifted instructional talent to positively impact the fire service that he loves so dearly, and he faithfully instructs numerous of officer and instructor courses for the Fire Academy. Don is a perfect recipient to reflect the name of Clyde B. Spillers in such an honorable and prestigious memorial way. Please accept my humble nomination, and I appreciate the consideration of award committee of this request. It is an honor to ask Don Wilkerson to come forward as the Clyde B. Spiller Educator of the Year.
Just a few words. Red Spillers was a great friend of mine. He and I taught a lot of classes many, many years ago, and it's really an honor to be awarded this award. I want to use a term that Jonathan Jones used earlier. collectively, you all have been great. I owe special allegiance and thanks to my wife for putting up with me and letting me do what I do, and I think everybody has profited by it. Thank you.
And when I was regional coordinator, I think I had to evaluate you once or twice. Congratulations, Don. Good friend. Next up is our keynote speaker. We were blessed, for some of us that are Carolina fans, we're blessed to have yesterday, 2 days, class at the Williams-Brice Stadium. We were gracious that Carolina offered that facility for us to host one of our events. Today, our keynote speaker is Luke Day. Luke Day is a head football strength and conditioning coach. University of South Carolina head football coach Shane Beamer tabbed Luke Day to lead the Gamecocks strength and conditioning program on January the 10th, 2021. Day, who has experience at both the collegiate and professional levels, comes to Carolina after spending the 2020 season as head strength and conditioning coach at Marshall University, his second stint with the Thundering Herd. Day worked on the staff at the University of Colorado in 2019. Day initially joined the Herd as the head strength and conditioning coach in January of 2016, a position he held for 3 seasons. He was recommended by Scott Sinclair, Day's predecessor, who in 3 years transformed the Herd strength and conditioning philosophy during a run of 3 straight seasons of 10 or more wins by Coach Doc Holliday's team. Day and Sinclair, who moved from MU to strength and conditioning director's role at Georgia, previously worked together at UCF under veteran strength coach Ed Ellis. Prior to his arrival in Huntington, Day spent 1 year as assistant on the Cincinnati Bengals strength and conditioning staff. Day is a native of Hamilton, Ohio, where he has significantly involved with inner-city ministry for the Hamilton Dream Center. Prior to his year with the Bengals, he spent 2 years as assistant in strength and conditioning at UCF, following stints at USF 2012 and Cincinnati 2011-2012. He also served as a summer volunteer in strength and conditioning with the New Orleans Saints in 2010. Day and his wife Tricia have a son Jay and a daughter Noah. Please help me welcome USC coach Luke Day.
You guys hear me? This thing is fancy. Daggone, man. Y'all do it up. I thought I was at a party or something, all right? How you guys doing? Am I before or after lunch? Oh, man. That's the worst. It's a dark room, full bellies. Y'all better sit up, man. I'm here. All right, we got done training the last group about 67 minutes ago, and I hustled right here, threw on my cowboy boots, and now we're here. All right, so let's make something out of it, okay? I hope that you can use some of this stuff that I'm talking about. All right, oh, I can see it down here. Man, this is fancy up in here, so I'll stay up here. I was gonna come down there, but if I can see it down there, perfect. All right, listen, how many the chiefs are here? Like you're the boss, all right? And then we have firemen, and how many? And we're staying in the house. I was trying to think. This is an interesting group because this is probably the only line of work that spends more time with their coworkers than my line of work. As I'm there so many daggone hours a day, I see the South Carolina football players more than I see my son and daughter and wife, right? But you guys can probably relate to that, all right? So here's the stuff I want to talk to you about. Maybe you can use some of it. If it's no good, then just rush the stage and attack me so we don't waste your time, and then we'll drag me out, and I'll go home, and everybody you can go on with your day. But if you can use something, all right, then maybe it can help, okay? Because I'm not going to come up here and talk about myself. We're not going to say how important football is. This is a way bigger deal, all right? If we don't do things right in my line of work, we lose a football game. If we do that too many times, I have to load a moving truck and move, all right? If you don't do something right, someone could literally lose their life. That's a big deal, man. That's a really big deal. So here's the deal. All right, we just hung this banner up in the indoor. It's everywhere. It is the fundamental philosophical statement since arrival in Shane Beamer's football program, and it's this: above all else. What does that mean? Above all, let me tell you something. Every football team in the Southeastern Conference and every other conference in the United States of America has probably talked to. Anybody have children that play sports? Raise your hand if you haven't. You have probably yelled this at your son or daughter at a baseball game or softball game or pee-wee football game. You said, "Be tough. We got to be disciplined. We got to be accountable." We got all these words. I call them words on the wall. Everybody, those are the words you paint on the wall. High school weight rooms, college weight rooms. You make T-shirts. Everybody gets really excited every August and thinks they're going to be the team that does it, right? And it's words on the wall. It doesn't mean anything, because it doesn't mean anything if we do not, above all other things, love each other. Above all else, we're going to love our brother. For you, could you apply that in your house, your firehouse? Above all else, above the trucks being right and organized. My brother-in-law is I always hear him complain on his day off or whatever when he just got out of the firehouse. All right? If the trucks aren't organized and the stuff's not put together and guys didn't clean the bathroom and guys let a mess out, above all else, can we love each other? And then let's go from there. Then let's make each other better. That's what I want to talk to you about. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to move quick. I'm going to throw, all right, this is the wrong phrase to use with the wrong group. I was going to throw a fire hose of information at you, but that's not the group to say that to. Here's the deal, all right? I've been doing this for a little bit. I'm not near I don't have a corner market on how to make people win every football game they've ever played. All right, I'm not some kind of guru that's going to tap you on the head and everything, culture, we love that term right now and all that kind of stuff. But here's some stuff that I've learned that I've screwed up over the years, okay? Some convictions and some confessions, all right? Here's the deal. The world is made of what you pay attention to. If you're looking to get offended, you'll probably get offended. If you're looking for somebody to do you wrong, they will probably do you wrong. You tell yourself a story and you make the world that reality of the story you have told yourself, right? So why am I telling you that? Because here's the deal. I have missed the mark, all right? I have missed the mark with young men many times. That's my friend Bert Soren. He owns the company Sorinex that makes all those really cool exercise equipment. They're right here in Columbia, South Carolina. The company was started here. It's the biggest, baddest exercise equipment company in the country. Big time hunter, and I use his picture right there. All right, I've missed the mark. You know why? Because here's what I want you to understand, okay? This above all else, it's actually biblical. We kind of come in under the radar, and we tell everybody, just above all else, love your brother. But hey, coach, where's that come from? It comes from right here. Above all else, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. Pete said that, the original Peter, all right? If I put a Bible verse, people kind of glaze over, so I just say, who said it? Pete, all right? Pete said that, okay? All right? So here's what I'm saying, all right? The Greeks, their translation to sin, all right, the multitude of sins is to miss the mark, miss a target. It's not sin like you're a bad person, right? There's nothing you can do. Your soul is condemned, hellfire, brimstone, all that kind of stuff. Like, let's just make it what it is. You're not a good person. You're not a bad person. All right, we say that on our football team all the time is, or who's the good kids, who's the bad kids? I said, there aren't any. There's kids that'll get really upset or get really scared and do some really selfish, nasty things that'll tear us apart. And there's some kids that if they feel loved and they feel safe and they feel empowered, they will lead your football team. Guess what? We don't ever stop being that way. So if you're in charge of some men or women in this room right now, I'm just going to try to give you a couple things to think about. All right, if you're leading human beings, this is some stuff to think about. Because if we decide to operate under this umbrella, we're going to love each other deeply. Because here's the deal, I will miss I will get upset at you. It's 9,000 degrees outside and you didn't touch the line again, and I say a really bad word I shouldn't have said, and you can't believe I said that to you, but you know intention is everything. We're going to set the table of how we're going to operate in our organization with the intention of love. All right? That guy that I showed you that was shooting that bow, he's got a great line I always steal from him. He said, I would rather you accidentally punch me right in the face than intentionally swing and miss. Because what? Intention is everything. If you actually hit me in the face, oh, hey, man, you didn't mean to, right? Right? My wife would still be mad, but she doesn't care. It just happened, right? But if I knew what you were trying to do to me, we got a real problem here. So let's set the table with this. And then everything, you are going to make mistakes. You will not be your best. We got a thing going on right now that Marcus Satterfield, our offensive coordinator, has instituted because we're conditioning this team, and it is hard. It is really, really hard this summer right now. And we do a thing to where every single rep has a goal time, and if we don't make the goal time, every single person doesn't count. And I don't know if you've ever done something really, really physical and hard, and then you finish it and it didn't count. And not because of you, but because of somebody else, all right? Rage takes place very quickly, all right? So to the point to where we want guys to leave. We want people to call each other out. We want to be uncomfortable with each other and all that kind of stuff, but we got to learn how to do it, all right? So Marcus has this great idea right now that we're doing, and it's this, okay? If you are the guy screwing it up or bleeping it up, all right, what we say to that guy is, hey, we need you, right? That's all you're allowed to say. And if you receive that and you respond that, yeah, I suck today, right? You say, thank you, right? We need you, thank you. Under the guise of above all else, we're going to love each other. But now, here's the deal. Here's the deal we make with these guys. If you're the guy causing us to do the reps over and over and over again, and we say we need you, and you go, man, I'm trying my best. Okay, weapons free. Here we go, right? Take the gloves off. Go get him, boys. All right? That's the rule. That's the rule. Maybe you can adopt that. All right? Here's what I want you to understand. If you did, this sounds really cool to say, oh, we should love each other. We had a convention over the weekend, and it was so good, and the strength coach told us, we're going to come back and love each other. And then 3 days later, there's blood on the floor. You can't understand what happened. All right? If you're going to do this, all right, there needs to be an agreement. We tell our guys, it is not as important that you do the right thing. It's more important that we agree that it is right. Because here's the deal, fellas. As soon as they cross the line in Williams-Brice, there's 90,000 people in there. They can't hear me anymore. They're going to do what they believe is right. Right? And I would never step into your world and try to suggest what it is that you know, but basically when the lights and sirens are going off and you run into a burning building, guess what? What you do and what you've been trained is what you're going to do at that point in time. So we better understand if this is how we're going to interact with each other, this is going to be a struggle, inevitable and essential. If we're going to actually have deep, meaningful relationships, if you're going to be the absolute best at leading your crew, if you're going to be the absolute best at being led in your crew, at being a member or brother or sister in your house, then you are going to have to accept that this is going to be really hard. And I'm going to tell you why it's so hard. The other thing is this. If the only reason that people are doing things right and they're cleaning up what they're supposed to do and they're working hard and they're showing up on time is because they're afraid of what will happen to them, that is shallow, shallow operations. Because as soon as you turn your back, they're like hyenas ready to circle around you. All right? You think you're leading by fear and your big whistle, that's what I call it. A coach just thinks he's big whistle, right? And he tells you, you better do that. If the only reason you're doing something is because you're going to have to do a bunch of up-downs or push-ups at 6 a.m. the next day, then it ain't real. This is not a real, authentic, raw human experience that you and I are exchanging in. It's a human charade. We're not going to play charades. If you're playing charades with your people, then it's not real. And I can't think of a group where connection, being tied together, would be more important than you guys. If you do it, you can't do it in fear. All right? Because the opposite of love is not hate, it is fear. All right? John said that. Like, same deal. Pete, John, the original. All right? He said that. Because perfect love drives out fear. But here's why it's a struggle. Here's why love's a struggle. If love drives out fear, then if you decide to do things out of love, every single day you will be confronted with something that will make you extremely uncomfortable. You will be asked to have a conversation you don't want to have. You will be asked to, you will get stung, exhorted. You're going to be corrected. Love bears all things, right? If I cannot look you square in the eye, say I love you, and then if you're screwing everything up and everybody else in the house doesn't like you and I don't tell you about it, then I don't love you. To be hated is to be lied to. To be lied to is to be hated. So if we're going to drive out fear, we have to confront everything that makes us really, really uncomfortable. You guys thought I was going to talk about workouts, all right? Here's the 3 essential struggles that we have got to get done with our student athletes, and I'm going to go ahead and stand up here because they gave me the microphone. You all invited me. I can say whatever I want. I say that if you're going to have any type of real relationship with a human being on planet Earth, you got to get good at these 3 things. You have to know and be known. You need to know these people. You need to know the people. Don't just have small talk. There's no time for it. Okay? Here's the deal, all right? Here's the big news of the day. You're all going to die. So am I, and everybody you know is going to die, right? So there's no wasted time, no dumb stuff, no small talk, all right? No, can you believe this is rain? Come on, man. Something deeper. Give me something more. Give me something more to connect to right now. All right, you guys are like, this guy is a psychopath, okay? Know and be known. All right, and what I mean by be known, then you need to be vulnerable enough to let yourself be known. You want to lead men or women the right way? Then let me tell you something. Let them know what you're scared of. Let them know what your priorities are and why they are. Because if this was a scar back in the day, this happened to me, and I got rung up by my boss, and I'm not going to let that happen again. And people can get on board with that because you've been authentic enough for them to connect with you. All right? The other thing, we've already talked about this, tell the truth. Okay? Tell the truth. Every single thing that you haven't experienced with, tell the truth. If it's good, tell them why it's good. Be specific. Don't just say you're a great guy. Right? When you yell, when you correct your son or your daughter, you don't just say when they leave all of the stuff, they didn't clean their room up, you say, you're a terrible kid. You say, I told you specifically to clean your stuff up. But for some reason, when somebody does something good, we go, hey man, we really appreciate you. You're just a great guy. And that kid will start to associate that he just deserves whatever's going to happen because God made him that way. Be specific with your correction. Be specific with your praise. And number 3, come alongside. What does that mean? If you are not willing to suffer with me, right, to struggle with me, then do not be willing to come up and celebrate with me. Don't pat me on the back and tell me great job if you weren't standing there when I was on my hands and knees crawling around and looking like a fool and everybody else said this guy can't do it. So to come alongside as their coach, the first thing they ever say, we got official visits right now, right, on our campus, in our facility. And what we tell these recruits is, my responsibility is to come alongside you. Some of the worst days in your young adult life in this weight room will take place here. Some of the best days that will ever happen in your young adult life will happen in this weight room. We train those kids 46 weeks out of 52 weeks a year. It ain't just 12 Saturdays a year. This is a full-time gig these dudes do, right? We're training them 4 times a week, 5 days a week. They're in the building. Weekends are off. That's going to happen until July or until the end of July. Then we're going to go into training camp in August. Then that's going to take us to the season. We're going to finish the season in December. Hopefully we're going bowling in a big-time bowl in January, right? Take 2 weeks off, line back up. Let's do it all over again, right? So I've got to come alongside these guys. You do too with your people, all right? Something this could get, your brain could fly out of your head if we go down this rabbit hole, so I'm just going to be quick with it, okay? Something we do with our guys, and it's interesting to do. You talk about making it weird. This is a good way to make it weird, okay? We want to know your language of appreciation, the way in which you receive information that says we appreciate you, right? Everybody's got a different way. All right, for some people, it is affirmation. That's me. You tell me, great job, I'll run through the wall. Yes, let's go, right? Some people it's quality time. Some people it's an appropriate physical touch. Don't get sent to HR, all right? Just that a boy, all right? Nice job, ma'am, you know, that kind of deal, okay? Some people it's gifts. Right? Some people, it's acts of service. Why do I do this? Because when I was at Marshall, I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'd make them all peanut butter and jellies and I'd line up all these snacks and all that kind of stuff. And they would go, oh, thanks, coach. And then I turn around and I looked at the garbage can and it was all full of the sandwiches I just made. What just happened? And then I gave them this test. You can look it up. It's the Dr. Dobson Focus on the Family 5 love languages. Right? Our players are like, Coach, why are you asking me if I'd rather hold my girlfriend's hand or go out to dinner with her for a nice evening? I said, just answer the question. I just need to know. All right? But here's what I was finding out. That's our football team right now. 51% of our guys want quality time. That's what means something to them. The other 23 words of affirmation. So 74% of the football team are quality time and words of affirmation. Now, I'm going to give you a quick peek into what this is all about. What's going on with the modern college athlete, okay? If you grew up with a father, what are the 2 things you craved? Those top 2. If you didn't have one, you're seeking it, right? We coach a lot of guys that don't have dad, that did not grow up with dad. Dad went away, dad left, whatever, right? You get those 2 things. So when our academic people go, we can't get him to do anything. He won't go to class. He won't. But then when we come in the weight room, he will literally tear himself apart when you ask him to. Why? Because football loves him back specifically. When he does good on the field, they literally say his name on a loudspeaker and affirm him. If he's an affirmation guy, he is euphoric. His neurons are flooded with such serotonin, he is addicted to that response. He'll do whatever he has to do to get it again, right? Math, when you get the answer right, they don't say nothing. So screw math, right? Quality time. How do I take 100 people? Maybe you're thinking about, how am I supposed to do this with my guys, right? You take them aside just for a second because what you're doing, I'm pulling you aside. If I got a guy that's having a problem or he's doing really well, come here, man. Instead, right? One of the interns tries to get into it with him. You're not touching him. Hey, come here. I just pull him aside. What's going on with you, right? And that little moment is like it's like a nervous system reset. Coach, I'm struggling. Whatever that is, and it makes, I have entered into his frequency. You guys got radios. If you're not on the right channel, it's not going to work. If you're not on the right channel, it's not going to work. Love languages are frequencies, okay? So when I was handing out T-shirts at Marshall and making sandwiches, guess who I was touching? Nobody. But I was getting offended. Now, part of maturing is to try to be at least understanding of when somebody's trying to appreciate you, but it's not the way you do it. But that's part of this whole struggle. All right? Tell the truth. Why? Because if we say we're going to love each other, because love bears all things. Don't leave nothing unsaid. All the good stuff, all the bad stuff. Right? I've been with my wife since we were 16 years old, right? We've moved 30 million times, right? We've been fired, we've been hired, we've had babies, right? While we were having babies, we got fired. While we were having babies, we got hired, right? There's all kinds of, my assistant strength coach is having a baby at this moment, and he's expected to be back at work tomorrow. That's just the way it is, okay? So here's the deal. If we're going to do this, so me and my wife have said some reckless stuff to each other, right? But if I let that thing go unsaid, I want you to think about it's like getting a splinter and it just gets infected and it swells and it swells and it swells, and now I got to have surgery, right? And now we're going to break up, or we got to so stop, cut the leg off, right? That's the same thing. When you the reason why love bears all things is because love cannot exist when things are being left unsaid. But you can't just come and scream F you at everybody you got a problem with, right? You've got to season your speech. You've got to be grown about how you're going to tell that truth. Here's how we do it. And don't get any ideas. All right, Chiefs, don't come back and try this. Everybody's going to be mad at me. Okay? So here's the deal. Bo Schembechler said this. I asked recruits who that guy is. They have no idea. Okay? But he said if it's important to your program, you better track it. If it's important to whatever you're trying to do in your business, you better track it. If truth is important because we can't do this love thing above all else without it, then we got to track truth. Here's how we do it. All right, we got this thing called a grit score. Angela Duckworth, read the book, all right? She wrote a book called Grit, The Long-Term Passion and Perseverance to Achieve Something. She helped us develop this system. She's a New York Times author and bestseller. She's a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. She created this thing called a grit scale, and I just stole the term. She got mad at me for a while. But the grit scale, okay, and what she did was, how likely are you to stick to something that gets very, very difficult? Okay? And what she did is she gave that to all incoming West Point cadets. And within 99% accuracy, it predicted who would finish. 4 years later, she was 99% right. So it's not IQ, it's not talent, it's not ability, it's not physical giftedness and prowess. It's this thing, grit. And how do we define that? It's your long-term passion and perseverance towards something. These kids say they want to go to the NFL. Every single one of our football players think they're going to the NFL. They have no idea that if you play defensive back, they carry 4 of them on a team, right? We have 12 on ours, and you don't even play, right? And then there's only 32 teams in the NFL, so you have to dethrone one of like 64 active defensive backs in the universe. And that guy's a grown man with a long-term contract. And in 6 weeks at your training camp, you've got to make him lose his job. So you better be a pretty gritty dude to get what you want long-term. What you told me is to go to the NFL. So here's how we do it. We track it in 3 things: accountability, toughness, and performance. All right? Accountability. You're on time. All right? Nothing says I don't care about you like being late. Nothing says I don't care about you like being late. My wife doesn't understand that. It's a whole deal. Okay? Dress code. Wear what we're going to look like. You know why we have a dress code? Not to make kids just be militant, right? It's because it's not your time. It's not my time. It's South Carolina football's time. We're going to look a certain way, right? And all of a sudden, when you create an environment that's kind of like buttoned up, everybody starts operating at a little higher level. When you make it all sleazy and we'll do whatever you want, we're not operating as well as we can, right? Your body weight, you're going to be within 2 pounds of your goal body weight. All right, because we got to scale your business. If you're going to take your business to the NFL, great, you're pretty dominant on Friday night. Saturday, everybody looks like you, so we got to get bigger, right? Toughness. Here's the deal. One takeaway is this: so that you can go home, when you yell toughness at your kid, at least you can define it, okay? All right, sir, I want you to come up here. I want you to punch me right in the mouth. Right now. Go. You're like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing that. This guy's lost his mind, right? Now, if I were to take, all right, 100 grand and just set it right there, and I go, first person to punch me in the mouth gets 100 grand, all right? We'll see how many good guys we got in here, okay? Now, because here's what just happened in the feedback loop of your frontal lobe, okay? What you're doing is more important than how you, is this worth it is the definition of toughness. Is this worth it? Are you worth it? I'm not dealing with this guy anymore. Get him out of here. Well, guess what? If we don't get him, I got young coaches that I worked with, they don't understand. A coach just needs to cut him. No, he's the best player on the team, okay? So if we cut him, we cut us. All right, he's playing. Figure it out. All right, get him right. All right? So the definition of toughness, and steal this, take this one home, all right? What you're doing is more important than how you feel. That's it. That's the definition of toughness. So when you tell your kid, oh, be tough, right? Does he even care? If he's at soccer practice and won't run hard, ask him if he even wants to play soccer. Because if he doesn't, then he's not going to be tough because it's not valuable to him. But if he said, Coach, Dad, I want to play soccer more than anybody on the block, okay, great. And then when he doesn't feel like doing it, I say, hang on a second, you said that's the most important thing to you right now. But apparently it being hot is more important to you. The most important thing to you is heat. Most important thing to you is being tired. Most important thing to you is being thirsty. That's more important than going to the NFL. That's more important than taking care of your mom. That's more important than buying your mom a house because you grew up in poverty. These are the conversations I have on a daily basis. All right? What you're doing is more important than how you feel. We're going to track it specifically. We do a body language thing. Listen to me. The way you receive information, the way you sit there and look, right? You're saying, I can't hear you over what you're doing. Right? I can't hear what you're saying over what you look like. Body language is a big deal. Our guys are not allowed to put their hands on their head. right? And they send me stuff all the time that they find from like sports science people. You can actually breathe better up here. I don't care. We're not looking like it, okay? No, we call it surrender cobra. Nobody's being held hostage to do what we're doing, right? No surrender cobra, all right? No hands on knees, all right? We're not gonna bend over and look like that, all right? So the body language is a big deal. All right, daily task of toughness is a whole thing. We don't have time to go into that. But if you ever want to talk about it, just email me. It's a social experiment that we put people through every single Friday, and it's pretty entertaining. All right, here we go. Performance. All right, do or do not. There is no try. That's Yoda. He said that. All right? Of course you're trying. If you're not trying to be a great fireman, all right, then get out. Right? If you're not trying to be great at playing football, this is Southeastern Conference, man. Have you looked around it? It's pretty hard. Okay? Of course you're trying. Do or do not. Because here's the deal. There's a two-way accountability. If I'm leading you, right, and you're in my program or you're in my organization and you always fail, I am failing to lead you. Right? If everybody else is thriving and you're failing, it's a you problem. This is a two-way street of accountability. This is why we say if there's 5 reps of squat on set 3 on a Tuesday morning in the middle of February and all the coaches are not there, it's just us, the strength coaches and the players, and you only get 4 minus. Minus. We do everything with a plus or minus, binary. Why am I showing you all this? Here's grit score. Accountability plus toughness plus performance, all right? That's your grit score. Tell the truth, okay? Tell the truth. This is something every single day, you are what your record is. Micah Fink, a retired Navy SEAL that does a really, really incredible work out in Montana that takes veterans that are really, really struggling mentally, right? And he has a phrase that he uses, he just puts them into really, you know what he does with guys, right, that have now, they've been injured, they were the world's most elite human beings on the planet. SEAL team guys, operators, all these people, right? And now they have no purpose, okay? They have no purpose. So what he does, it's not, they don't go pet Labradors, they don't go whatever. He just makes them go work really, really hard on a ranch until their life starts to make sense again, right? Because here's the deal, your work will make room for you. What's going on? The work I put down, the work you put together with your brothers every single day, right, is who you are. Not what your little pet beliefs are, not what you said you wanted to be. It's what you do, man. All right, I can say about we had a really fuzzy first team meeting. If I don't live it, then all this stuff was nonsense. So yes, in our building, if you put together a loser day, everybody knows it. If you put bowl eligible, great, we're going to the GoDaddy.com bowl. Who cares? You're average, right? And 85% to 100, that's like going 10-2. Nobody's ever gone to Atlanta and played in the SEC championship being 10-2 or less. 11-1, 12-0. It's hard to win. Everybody wants to do it. All right? If you'll see that guy drop below a 65, and it's purple and orange, so you guys understand why you're a loser. Okay. All right. All right. Here's the deal. I want you to understand. Okay. If we're going to do this life, all right. And we're here. We were born. We won. Cosmic lottery. We're Americans. We won, man. Right? We could have been born in Afghanistan. It could have been really, 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 really rough. Right? If you got an iPhone in your pocket, you won. Okay? So if we're here and we're going to do this life together, how about this? All right? Let's come alongside each other. All right? If you're going to say you're my friend, all right, stick closer than my brother. If you're going to say I'm going to stick close. When everybody says that you can't do this, and you suck, and they should fire you, and all this kind of stuff, I'm going to be there. I'm going to hang in there with you, right? When everybody's patting you on the back and telling you how great you are, right? But I know you're not living right, I'm going to stand right there with you. I'm going to tell you the truth because a friend sticks closer than a brother. World's richest man, you say that. You know who said that, sir? Solomon. All right, same deal. If I'd have put Proverbs, everybody's like, man, I don't know if I agree with that. All right, but Solomon said it, right? If Bill Gates would have said it, nobody had a problem. Well, they do now since the COVID stuff, right? But not anymore. All right? Solomon said that. He was pretty smart. He was pretty wise. All right? Listen to me. Be willing to do this together. Be willing to suffer together. Right? So that you can understand that this is what I was talking about, system 1, system 2. Is this worth it? We don't got time for that, okay? Read that book, all right? It'll take you 10 years to figure that out. All right, here's the deal. Here's what I want you to understand about this, all all right? In this book, there was a study they did with parole judges, okay? People that send people back to jail or give them their freedom. Heavy stuff, all right? And what they found out, this is what I'm talking about toughness, is this worth it? What they found out is this. The longer the parole judge went from a feeding period, the less likely it was he would grant parole. You see what I'm saying? He ate breakfast, and he'd come in and be like, this guy's paid his debt to society. Free, right? The hungrier he got, no, go back to jail. It would drop by like 60% by the third hour away from eating. What? Because here's the deal, all right? I'll go back to that. This thing is wild they gave me, all right? Oh, what are we doing? Really, the whole thing, guys? If I go back, okay, so there, oh, here we go again, one more time around. Hang on, we're gonna get there. Here's why, because this is how your brain works again, just so you do, so you don't hold it against everybody, all right? And this is why, you guys are firefighters, I know you guys know how to cook and eat and everything else. Here's the deal, system 1, system 2, all right? There's not an actual 2 different systems in your brain, but there's 2 parts of your brain. There is your animal brain, it's hot, let's go get cool. I'm thirsty, I need something to drink, right? That guy's mean to me, screw him, right? It's your quick reaction. It's called your limbic brain. It's the stuff, right? But you also, whatever. If you think we evolved or God created us that way, we're not having that conversation here right now, okay? But there's another part of your brain, all right, that can override how you feel. And the guy that wrote that book about those parole judges, System 1, Thinking Fast and Slow, right? That stuff runs, that's called expensive thinking because it runs on glycogen, right? So when they say breakfast is the most important day, literally everyone around you depends on you eating well, right? I'm a strength coach and I drink 1,000 Coke Zeros. And one of the kids was like, Coach, you know it's not good for you. I said, I know it's not good for me. It's good for you that I drink all these. All right? Here's the deal. All right, finally is this, okay? If you want people to belong in your organization, if you want them to actually feel loved, then don't withhold 1 ounce of emotion, good or bad, all right? Good or bad, suffer with them and celebrate with them. And that what you've done is you've applied meaning. You are now on their self-map. I'll leave you with this. This is the last thing. Okay? Think about a map with a bunch of pins and destinations, right? GPS or whatever on your phone. Okay? And all of those things on that map are the things you care about. Right? Well, what we've got to do in an organization or a team or a firehouse or whatever is I've got to make the same points on my map on your map. The things that pull on my heartstrings got to pull on your heartstrings. How do I do that? I make the experience that we're having together valuable. We talked about it. Contempt for someone is more comfortable than actually getting to know them and telling them the truth. But that suffering of getting to know them and telling them the truth and going through really hard, difficult things together and going through really great things that we can celebrate together, we now got the same, we got the same little red dot on my heart is on your heart, and it's connected. We are now tied together. I'm tied to you. You want to go to the NFL, right? I can keep you from it by what I do. For you guys, it's way bigger than that. I want to go home to my family tonight after I get off my shift. And if you don't live right, and if you don't do what we're asking you to do, it might cost me my life. I'm tied to you, man. So we have got to come to an agreement that we are going to suffer together and we're going to celebrate together and we're going to get on each other's frequency the whole time we're suffering and we're celebrating, and we're going to have the same shared map. The reason why, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because your dad was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, it's not even the same people on the team. They don't have the same coaches, but you still have an emotional reaction, right, to what they do on Sunday because of the connection you have with your father. So by proxy, they're on your map. Same thing, man. I want you to understand that. So we made our guys run up and down every step in the stadium tied together. And not so we could have some big kumbaya moment, it's so that they could understand this. It's great. I talk to a lot of young men when I say, hey man, this guy's not, your teammate's not doing the right, he's not living right. He's not showing up on time, he's not working hard, he's not showing up to academic appointments, he's not doing this. And you know what, I hear it a lot of times, he's a grown man, he's gonna take care of himself. He's a grown man. I go, well, that grown man, right? Nobody's ever jumped off sides on the SEC Saturday night game of the week on CBS and they back him up. Right? And he starts 5 yards behind everybody else. They back everybody up. Right? And if we all lose the game, we are losers. And if he's helping us lose, he'll helping making you a loser. So I better be invested and interested in my brother or sister's success. All right? Now here's the deal. Every single step of the way, you're going to get tired, you're going to get grouchy, you're going to get sick of this, right? No deals. That's another one of our phrases. All right? No deals. Because a deal, right? Oh, I don't feel like having this conversation with him. Just let him do whatever he wants. I don't care. All right, you know what? Everybody go home early. You've worked hard enough. All right, we'll get it tomorrow. You're making it. The easy way out is to deal with the devil. All right, and it will manifest itself in some way, right? And for you guys, it's a way bigger deal than for everybody else. All right? So if we're going to do this thing, man, if you don't say you love me, if you're not willing to come alongside me, if you're not willing to tell the truth, and you're not willing to do all of those things that we talked about, right? And if we are going to agree to live like this and have a real authentic experience, then man, no deals. All right? Thank you guys so much for your time.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go home. I'm pumped up. I'm re-energized. Let's give another round of hand for Luke Day. Find somebody to tie myself to lead me even farther in my career. Look at there. Get a message. All right, next up is moving into our committee reports. Darren Player, if he'll come forward. Election committee.
Good afternoon, I'm Darren Player, and I serve this association this year as the chair of the Elections Committee. Per our bylaws, I'm in receipt of the letters of intent of all our candidates for office. We'll have 2 candidates on the ballot for the office of 4th Vice President. Those names are Randy Arant and Brian Brazier. In alphabetical order, by last name, I now offer the podium for a maximum of 5 minutes each to the candidates so that they can address the delegates. So Randy Arant, if you would come out now, and you'll have 5 minutes to address the delegates.
Boy, nothing like to get to speak after the keynote speaker. Like I said, hello, my name is Randy Arant, and I'm a battalion chief with the Yermo Fire, and I'm running for 4th Vice President with the Firefighters Association. Just a little bit about me, I started the fire service in 2003 as a volunteer, and shortly after I became full-time with Lexington County and then the Yermo Fire District. I owe a lot to Chief Mike Sonnenfeld and retired Battalion Chief Tommy Amick. They were the ones who really pushed me to get me involved with the Firefighters Association. From there, I attended any and all quarterly training events and then started going to the Fire Rescue Conference. From there, I also started helping out kind of behind the scenes and was on the logistics team. I'm a Leadership Institute graduate from the 2012 class, and then in 2016, I was placed on the Finance and Audit Committee, to which I currently serve on. So the million-dollar question, why support, why vote for me? We are very blessed to have a proactive Firefighters Association that works extremely hard for its members day in and day out. My vision is to keep up with what's been done so far and also look into ways of improving the Firefighters Association. That starts by getting out with the members and seeing what needs to be improved on. Remember, this is your association. Training is near and dear to me. I would like to continue bringing in relevant training and great instructors that have been done up to this point. I really want to focus on making sure the Firefighters Association provides support to as many training events and/or weekend training conferences held throughout the state throughout the year. You know, it can be just as simple as providing food and/or water for that training event. I also want to continue making sure that all members are kept up to date with what's going on with the Firefighters Association. You know, that includes making the videos, which is what's been done here most recently. And due to COVID, you've been seeing a lot more videos put out through the Firefighters Association. That's a great start. Along with getting information out, I also want to work on getting the younger generations involved with the Firefighters Association. Millennials and Generation Zs are our youngest generation of firefighters, and we need to make sure we are getting them involved as much as possible. You know, by age and definition, I am a millennial, and I'm excited to find ways of getting them more involved. Accountability is another area in which I'll place a lot of emphasis on. I'm asking each member, if elected, to hold me accountable during the progression of chairs. I want to know how I am doing and what myself and the Firefighters Association can improve on. Remember, this is your association, and we need to know how we are doing and what we can improve on. Also, you will see me throughout the year during the training conferences and fire chiefs meetings. Those are great avenues to speak with all members and find out what we can do for you. And lastly, and most important, I am passionate about the fire service. This is not some checkoff for me, and I truly want to better an already amazing Firefighters Association. Since July of last year, and really since March of this year, due to COVID, I've attended 22 South Carolina fire chiefs meetings. No one made me go to those 22 meetings. I did it because of the passion I have for the fire service and the Firefighters Association. I did all of that because that is how passionate I am in wanting to be your next fourth vice president. That same passion and effort will be placed in everything I do and every member of the Firefighters Association for the next 6 years if elected. So in closing, since being involved with the Firefighters Association, I have been blessed to have many chiefs and members, to which many are in this room right now, take me under their wings and help mold me to who I am today. So first off, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for putting your time and effort in me. Now, let me pay that time and effort you all invested in me back by making an already amazing Firefighters Association even better. So again, thank you for your time. And again, I'm asking for your vote and your support so I can serve you.
And now Brian Brazier will come out and address you for 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm Brian Brazier, and I'm a candidate for the 4th Vice President of the State Firefighters Association. I thank you for this time for me to just share a little bit about me and my experiences as I seek this position. I currently serve as a captain of the Fire Division of the Aiken Department of Public Safety, and has been privileged to work for the City of Aiken for the last 38 years. In addition to my work with the city, I've served on the advisory committee for the last 4 years and was the interim 4th Vice President when Charlie King was hired as the Executive Director of our state association. I feel like any candidate running for any position of any organization should, number one, try to fulfill the mission statement of that organization, and that is my goal, to make the mission statement a reality throughout the state of South Carolina. 3 ways we can do that in the state is by having good, open, honest communications. If you go to any fire department that has a fire critique on the tailboard of a fire truck or read any line of duty death, the first thing that comes up is always what? Communications. Communications is key to getting information out about the association and to our members. The second goal I feel that we can help with that mission statement is by building relationships. Relationships are important to every station, every shift, and every department in this state. So we need to build those relationships not only within our own departments, but across the state with other agencies, with our legislative representatives, and all of the people that we're involved with, especially in our community. We have to build a relationship. The fire department can't do it alone. We need relationships with people in our community. And thirdly, I think we have to have one main goal to improve the benefits, the training, and everything we do for the association. A main focus goal that everyone in this room needs to be a part of. So with that being said, I offer myself as a candidate for the fourth vice president. I have the support of my chief and my department and my family behind me. I thank you for your vote, and I thank you for your support, and I look forward to serving the association. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Randy and Brian. There is no polling room in which to vote. All voting is done online through your email account. If you were chosen by your chief as a delegate, you received an email notification with the voting portal. Go to that site and cast your vote. If you receive the emails from the association notifying you of your selection as a delegate, you are voting online through that email and can do so at any time prior to 1 p.m. tomorrow. Votes close at 1 p.m. via your computer, smartphone, and doing that simply by logging into your email. If you've not seen these emails, you must contact your fire department, not the association. Your department was notified in writing and through email numerous times over the past several months about this process. As to who was selected for the delegates and the email to which your notice was sent. I will be available after this session to answer questions, or you can see our President, Keith Minnick. I will offer the results of the election first to the President shortly after 1 p.m. tomorrow. Then the President will present the results to the candidates, then to the general membership at our transfer of command ceremony on Saturday evening. Thank you, Mr. President. That's my report.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. This time we got members, Chief Bill Hall, membership.
Thank you, President Minnick. Executive Committee members, delegates, and fellow members of the association. I have the pleasure to present the following 7 fire departments who have requested membership into the State Firefighters Association. Due to the association being unable to meet last year from COVID, 3 of these are from last year and 4 are for the current year. I ask that you take their names under consideration to be joined into our membership. Last year for 2020, applicant Fort Jackson Fire and Emergency Services out of Richland County, the Long Ridge Fire Department out of Berkeley County, and the Slater Marietta Fire Department out of Greenville County. Then for this year, the Bethia Fire Department out of Abbeville County, Clarks Hill Lost Wilderness Fire Department out of McCormick County, the Coronacca Fire Department out of Greenwood County, and the St. Stephen Rural Fire Department out of Berkeley County. As Chairman, I ask, do I hear a motion from the floor to accept these departments into membership? Do I hear a second? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. President.
At this time, as we talk about the good things that happen in the association with bills and legislative actions, and this year Chief Josh Holtzheimer chaired the legislative, but also a very key player is Chief Robert Stewart and his team at Cindy Conduis and Andy. So at this time, I'd like Holtzheimer, Chief Holtzheimer, and Chief Stewart to come to the stage, please, for legislative.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President. It has truly been an honor and a privilege to serve you as your legislative chair this year, and we have had a great year. But I tell you that because one thing, if you saw this morning the tremendous relationship that was built between departments in the lower part of the state and their representative is key to build those relationships in your local community. We do a lot on the state level for your association at the legislative side, but nothing is more important than that relationship you have at home with your representatives and senators. So I tell you that, please work to rebuild those relationships and keep that moving forward, because that was the key difference that made this year with our move with the cancer bill and the funding behind it, and those other items that were funded as well. Now I turn it over to Chief Stewart, and he's going to go into the more legislative detail.
Thank you, Chief. It's really great to be here together with you today at this conference. It's certainly the highlight of the year for Cindy and Annie and me. I know last year was a tough year. You've been through a lot, but fire service is a real hero in the legislature, and everyone in the state is very appreciative for everything the fire service does all the time, and especially during this last year. I'm happy to report to you that to date, this has been a great year for the fire service in the legislature. And I'm going to briefly tell you about 3 major items. Each of these items have passed both bodies and are in the budget. The budget still has to go to conference committee, but everything of these 3 I'm going to talk to you about are in both, so it should stay. I'm not going to tell you it's 100%, but it's very unlikely that something changes if it's in the budget, if it's in both versions. First, post-traumatic stress. As you know, in the past, we've been getting $250,000 non-recurring, and every year we had to go back and fight for it, and some years it was a tough fight, and some years like last year, because they didn't pass a budget, they just had a continuing resolution which did not apply to provisos, didn't get it last year. This year, I'm proud to say that we've got $250,000 for post-traumatic stress, for the operation of the FAST team, and for the insurance policy that covers out-of-pocket expenses for mental health issues with co-pays and deductibles and those kind of things. And now it'll be run through LLR, where the fire marshal's office is, and we won't have to go down there and fight for it every year. It's recurring money. Number 2, urban search and rescue. Every year we've tried to get more and more money. As you know, they've done an inventory of USAR, and there's some critical equipment that's needed, that's outdated or worn out, that needs to be replaced. And this year, we actually got, so far, $850,000 for equipment such as flood rescue, swift water rescue, things of those natures, and support the incident support team functions. Now, when Cindy and I were at SLED post 9/11, the biggest thing the fire service asked for, and we put fire service members on the Counterterrorism Coordinating Council, Joe Palmer and others, and the biggest thing they asked for was USAR. And over the several years there, we put $10 million of Homeland Security federal money into building this team. So we are thrilled to see that this is one-time money, but we're going to be fighting to get more next year. But we did get $850,000 for that as it stands right now. Number 3, the Firefighter Cancer Health Benefit Plan, as you know, passed last year, but it was not funded. This year, it has been funded in recurring money at $3,784,000. Now, folks, that's a lot of money, but it's in the recurring budget, so we're very pleased with that. And just the highlights of that, it gives you $20,000 payment upon medical diagnosis, and then up to $12,000 a year annually for out-of-pocket medical expenses, deductibles, and co-pays. And God forbid, but if there's a death due to that, there's a $75,000 death benefit. So that goes through LLR, and that'll be an insurance policy will be negotiated with a company to run that. But that is a huge step in the right direction for the cancer problem in the fire service. Now, as I've said, I'll just say it one more time to be sure you understand. Right now, just like this week, the budget in the House has been finalized, and it's gone back to the Senate. The Senate is going to non-concur. With it, which is normal business, and then it'll go to conference. But it's in both versions, the 3 things I've told you, so it's unlikely it will change, but it's not soup until you're ready to eat it, so just keep that in mind. Now, every year we start off at the governor's office with the budget. And I can tell you, Governor McMaster really loves the fire service, and his office, their philosophy is they want to take care of those who take care of others. And we're always welcome in his office. Then you have in the legislature, you had Senator Thomas Alexander, Representative Erickson, who you've heard from. She's Ways and Means, and Senator Alexander. They are the ones that really worked very hard on the cancer and got that big sum of money for us. Of course, Fire Chief Senator Gambrill, V-Safe, he's always on top of that and everything else concerning the fire service. Senator Massey is the one that's always got us the money for the post-traumatic stress for the FAST team and insurance policy. That's just a few of the legislators that have really helped. Now, still, none of this would have been possible without the hard work of many of you in this room and of many of you in the fire service who stay in close contact with your local legislators. Now, if you heard Chief Holzheimer talk about how important those relationships are, and I can tell you, you can't even imagine how important it is. We can be down there and something get hung up on the floor, and we call Chief King and say, you need to pull the trigger, and he pulls the trigger, and we can look down from the balcony and see people, legislators going for the cell phones, and as you guys call and saying, you know, we need a little help in something here. So Chief Minnick's been heavily involved. He's been down there a number of times, the executive board. Chief Holzheimer's been down there a lot. Chief Klein was extremely valuable in a number of issues this year. And I want to personally thank all of you for that, and especially want to thank Cindy Honduras and Annie Wooten for their timeless efforts down there every year, and especially this year. I'm telling you, they did some things down there this year that just unbelievable, and it had to be some divine intervention involved as well. But sometimes things on these three issues were bogged down, and they'd get up late at night and go down there, and it's just incredible what they've done working with you. So we are very honored to work with you and be a part of this association. South Carolina firefighters are American heroes. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator. When you see Chief Stewart, we really appreciate. Tell him how much we appreciate him being involved with us. Because I'm going to tell you, hands down, he and his team, Cindy and Annie, put a lot forth the effort of lobbying for us at the association, you the members, and we're greatly appreciative of what he does, his team. At this time, 1% retirement, Robert Key and Ned Toledano and Toledano and Associates. Another good relationship we have with our 1%.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with y'all once again. It's a real pleasure to be up here post-COVID where we can enjoy each other's company instead of by Zoom or FaceTime. I'll make my comments real quick. Let's see, I guess, do we have a couple of slides? How do I go forward here? All right, your 1% team is Toledano and Associates. They do all the record keeping. They keep track of 11,914 firefighters. I represent CCM Investment Advisors along with Michael Burkett in the back. And Rebecca Rhodes will be with us today or tomorrow. We do all the investment management for the plan. And I'm going to leave you with this one slide. Since we got started with the association on July 1st of 2016, the plan totaled $48 million, and we crossed the $100 million threshold as of May 31st, something we're really pleased to be a part of. And for more details, come join us in Richland C It's a little bit after 2 o'clock, but we'll be down there right after this meeting, so come get the information and the details, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much.
Members' benefits, Ross Vincent.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ross Fazan, and I am your Members' Benefits Chair. I want to start off by recognizing my committee members for 2021. If you're in the audience, please stand up. Sarah Welch from King Street Fire Department, Randy Hunter from the Bluffton Fire District, Will Glover from Sumter, Sean Petrus from Whitney, Mark Cato from Barnwell County, and Zarina Harmon as our South Carolina Firefighters Association liaison. This year we had a great year and we worked hard every day. Obviously with COVID, we still had our meetings. We held them via Zoom for the most part. We got a lot done, and we worked hard to bring new benefits to our membership. Just this year, our committee worked hard to bring you new rental car benefits, insurance benefits, housing and mortgage benefits, lodging and hotel benefits, as well as a few merchandising benefits. One of the things I feel like I'm most proud of with our committee is we were able to work with the Veterans Affairs Office and help our firefighters that are also veterans help receive those benefits. I look forward to a busy 2021, 2022 with my committee working hard on new beneficial benefits for our membership. Please feel free to reach out to me or anybody at the staff with the Firefighters Association for any questions. You can find all of our benefits online, and please be sure to check out our new website. Tell a friend, tell another firefighter about the website. All of our benefits are on there. Thank you.
Next up is Zarina with South Carolina Fire Insurance. And the rest of the crew.
Good afternoon. How are y'all? Glad to be here. Thank you all for being here as well. We're excited about this week and seeing you all for the rest of the week. Have some good stuff coming up. We'd love to see you at our booth tomorrow where all our partners are going to be and have the opportunity to speak to them. So please stop by. We're at the end of the hall. Have some couches for you to rest during your day. So we'd love to see you. I want to invite the people that usually don't get all the recognition that they deserve. We can't do what we do without them, and we thank them very much. So Rick Kramer, Scott Smith, Joe Munn, Marcia, Paul, and Ross Feason. So I'm going to turn it over to Rick now.
I think Zarina just stole all my thunder, but just want to take a quick second to say thank you to the board members who help us out throughout the year as we were looking through all the policies, trying to get work done with this board. Of course, the staff always working hard behind the scenes. We want to thank all of our partners who Provident, the other companies that work with us throughout the year. They are going to be in the booths the next couple of days, so we ask you to stop by and say hello to them. Thank you guys for everything you do.
Stop by and see Zarina and them at the booth. Check in on them. Next up is Life Safety Educators section, Matthew Bullard and David Hinman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This past year, with everything that was going on, we were faced with several challenges. But we did not want a negative impact on us to keep us from providing training and information for our section and the association. We were able to develop and host a virtual conference that we believe was a huge success. We want to give a big thanks to Chief Minnick, the entire staff of the association for everything they did to help us put all that together this year. Most recently, we completed an inventory on both of the side-by-side burn trailers. So we have an idea as to what all are on these trailers and the materials and equipment needed to put those together. If anyone's interested in using those side-by-side burn trailers, we ask that you please contact Jeff Allen with the association. He can get that scheduled for you. We appreciate the support of our section membership, the association, Chief Fulbright and his staff at State Fire. And I just want to tell everybody, the association and my section as well, thank you for allowing me to serve over the last 2 years as the first vice president and the president. And my successor will be Mr. David Hyman from the City of Greenville Fire Department, and he'll be leading this section this year.
Thank you. And I just want to say to Chief Bullard, we have something for you here, just in appreciation for the hard work and the dedication you've given to the Firefighters Association and to Life Safety Section for the past year. So,
thank you. Appreciate it.
Next up is our officers section, Ricky Jenkins and Andrew Morris.
Good afternoon. I'm Ricky Jenkins with Officer Section. As everyone knows, this year has been real trying with the COVID locking us down. We're fortunate enough to be able to be still working good together with Andrew Morris is going to be taking over the Officer Section this coming up year. We had some ideas going, working with developing partnerships with the Fire Academy right before COVID hits. Getting those we've met sometime this year via Zoom to keep those motions in effect, providing you with an officer academy. Because one thing that we've cried out is for more officer training to get us more developing officers in what we do. As you see, we have a tremendous turnaround in young officers coming up, but we hadn't had any courses that will train these young officers to come up. So he has a passion for it, so when he comes up here right now, he's going to tell you more about the partnership between the Fire Academy and the Officer Academy that we're getting ready to get started.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. President. So one of the things that we were in full swing with was our officer development program. And realistically, this was a boot camp style training program that we were collaborating with State Fire and the association to try to find a way to really bring those core competencies to our company level officers, both on the volunteer and career side. I'm really excited about it because I'm from Newberry and we have a smaller staff and a smaller department, so I really was like, this is something that some of the more rural departments need. It may not necessarily meet the needs of some of the larger departments, but I've spoke to a lot of the larger departments, and it's a missed niche altogether, officer development. And if you guys will, bear with me for a second, I want to read something. I realize this is not the Marines, but the Marines actually listed a great article. It's called The Squad Leader Makes a Difference. And I just want to read you one paragraph from the foreword. In combat, the actions of individual leaders affect the outcome of the entire battle. Squad leaders make decisions and take actions which can affect the operational and strategic levels of war. Well-trained leaders play an important role as combat decisions on the battlefield. Leaders who show initiative, judgment, and courage will achieve decisive results, not only at the squad level, but in the broader context of the battle. Without competent squad leaders capable of carrying out commander's intent, even the best plans are doomed to failure. And I want you to think about that in terms of your department. If you want to change the morale in your fire service, focus on the squad leader. Focus on that company officer. If you want to change behaviors within your fire department, focus on the company. See, here's one of the unique things that happens is we do a lot of customer relation focus, but the ones that truly have a pulse on our customer relations are the boots on the ground, whether you're career or volunteer. The ones that have a their finger on the pulse of those boots on the ground are our squad leaders, our company level leaders. So if you are looking to invest in the fire service, your department, focus and invest in your company officers, your squad leaders. So the officers section is something, if you want to get your people involved, we're going to meet after this meeting. I think it's going to be in Richland A, I think, but you can double check as we go down. This is about investing in the future by investing in the future's leaders. Thank you.
Certainly don't want to slight anybody, and I know everybody's busy with the association, but this next group, or next person, assuming he's going to mention the other people, Chief John Bowers is supervisory. As he comes up, I can tell you, Jeff Oswald has been really, really busy, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but hats off to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. President mentioned supervisory committee. For a lot of you that probably, you know it better as 1%. Very important part of our association, and that pot of money is vital to it's the lifeblood of our association in a lot of ways. And your association is charged with oversight of that money, and we take that responsibility very seriously. As the supervisory committee, there's 3 of us that are volunteers, and we comprise a committee. That would be myself, Jason Dennis, I don't know if Jason's in here, from Clarendon County Fire, and Ben Bowers from Newberry Fire. They volunteer their time to provide oversight for the 1% expenditure request, help us develop policy and make things run on that side. But also Jeff Oswald, our president mentioned, is our point person. Probably there's not a person in the room that doesn't interface with Jeff on a regular basis when it comes to 1% issues. And Jana Casianos works in the office, and she handles so many things behind the scenes and on the telephone to help be a clearinghouse for the 1% request and so many other things when it comes to your 1% money. Early on, one of the things that was recognized is because we have to provide oversight, we do so in many ways, but one of the things that we found out is that when we're doing audits, the auditors, one of the reoccurring comments made to the auditors is, oh, I didn't know that I was supposed to do that, or nobody's ever told me that. And so one of the things that we thought was important is to get out and be proactive and start having regional training classes, so that we actually go out and try to teach the proper behaviors or how to handle the money in the proper way, what expenditures can be used for and what they can't, sound accounting principles and those kind of things. And to date, we started that in 2018, June 2018, and to date we've conducted 27 of those classes around our state. So far, we've had about 740 attendees in those classes. If you're in this room and you have any responsibility in your department when it comes to 1% money, you need to attend one of those classes. If you haven't already, you need to make it a point. It's that important. Too many of our fellow fire departments receive audits and have substandard grades. They're not handling the money in the proper fashion. And you can alleviate that problem by attending a class and being trained on how to properly handle the 1% money. We will be conducting 2 training classes at this meeting that we're at now. We're going to be on Friday. We'll have a class at 3:30, and on Saturday we'll have a class at 1 o'clock. If your schedule allows, please attend one of those classes. We also have 2 other classes scheduled throughout our state. The next one coming up in Abbeville County on Saturday, June 26th. That'll be at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The class will be held at the Abbeville County Administrative Complex. Then we have one coming up in Dorchester County that's scheduled to be on July 13th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. At the Dorchester County Fire Rescue Headquarters. You can register for both of those classes using the registration link on the firefighter website. So I encourage you to plug yourself in. Recommend that anybody that's in your department that has 1% responsibilities to come and attend those classes so that you can learn how to administer the money properly. And in the event that you do have an audit, you can score well and things will be all good. Thank you, Mr. President.
Marquis Solomon, Finance and Audit.
Good afternoon. My name is Marquis Solomon. I'm your Finance and Audit Chairman. I want to kind of bring you guys up to speed of where we are with Finance and Audit. I hope to make you feel a little bit better about this. You all receive audits from the association. The association receive audits as well. We typically receive a third-party audit from a company called Green Finney, and that's something that we have to do annually to make sure that we stay in compliance with our 501c4 status, which allows us to function the way that we do. We have a very robust means of operating, which means we have funds that come in that are part government, and we have funds that come in that are from private entities. So we have to make sure that we're actually abiding by the laws as see fit. As part of the Finance and Audit Committee, you have a number of members that I want to name. You have Chief Brian Horton. You have Harold Smith from Greenville County. You have Chief Randy Arant, which you guys saw earlier. You have Chief Lee Hendricks from Conway. You have Captain Gene Shealy from Newberry, and you have myself as the chairperson. So we are the ones that help oversee that. I want to give another shout out to you guys. Make sure if you see this guy, Brian Bailey, he is probably one of the most important people that we have in this association. A lot of the things that we do are because he is so great at what he does as being our accountant. He makes sure that everything that we do is within the confines of our budget and that we stay solvent as an organization. So that's kind of something I want you guys to make sure you find him. You'll see him, he kind of have a little limp going on because he have little back issues, but don't touch him on his back, just tell him thank you, all right? Okay. Today, what I'm going to talk about more so is the audit component of the Finance and Audit Committee. We undergo audit normally around January of each year, and that's for the year for 1920. So we underwent an audit in January of 21. We run a little different than some organizations. We run similar to like the federal government. We go October 1 to September 30th. And the good news from this year is that we did present fairly on all of our financial records, which means that we are within the realm of being compliant. So that means that they did not find anything that really stuck out, or what we like to say unremarkable. So that's good in the financial realm. Another thing that we've done, and you probably heard it already, go to the website. scfirefighters.org, scfirefighters.org, let me say it again, scfirefighters.org. Reason why is because everything that pertains to that audit is on that website. We want to make sure that you all are able to see what it is that's being done with your money. So it's really a means of being transparent. So scfirefighters.org, make sure you go to it, take a look at the audit, and every audit that we've had in recent years, you'll actually find it there as well. So make sure you understand that. And pass that along to anybody else that you see so that you can take a look and see what the finances look like as far as how the organization is operating. So we did receive a good review on the 1920 audit, so you can rest easy with that. And once again, make sure that you thank the people like Executive Director King, Brian Bailey as the accountant, and your committee for actually really looking after the finances and being a good steward of your finances. So hopefully I'll see you all around, and that'll be my report.
Health and Safety, Tracy Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your attendance. I know you've
been sitting here for a while, so I'll try to keep my comments short. This year, we've all received a lot of achievements this year, but we can't stop now. It's only begun, so to speak. It's our job, it's your job, my job, and the association's job to update our members on health and safety practices. In just a few short weeks, we'll be going under the 2021 Firefighters Safety Stand-Down Day. Those dates are from June the 20th to 26th. The Health and Safety Committee is going to look at this, dive into it, and work to bring you more information for this upcoming year. We'll be looking at revising and procedures for you to look at and use. We'll be having things on information that's coming out on cardiac, nutrition, exposures, hydration, and heat stress, just to name a few. Your Health and Safety Committee is meeting July the 23rd at 10 a.m. for an in-person meeting at the association office. We're there to meet our new committee members and to dive right into work coming up for this coming year. I'd like to take a few minutes just to talk about the Cancer Coalition. The Cancer Coalition has been working diligently over the year to bring you information. We've created monthly information up until February of 2022, and then we'll have weekly bullets that come out with information that hopefully that you can take back and use for your members and your membership. We've been working hard on that, but we know that there's work to be done. Please, if you have the information set on social media, please share it so we can get the information out to members and let them start using this information. I will leave you with one good thing, and that thing is that it takes a village to raise a child. So we're all in this together. Let's keep working hard. We'll keep bringing you the information, and I appreciate your time. Mr. President, that's my report.
Thank you, Tracy. SC Fast, Patty Graham.
I'm glad to see some people still in the room. It's been so good to see people we haven't seen in a while. Most of you know, excuse me, that FAST has been hard at work over the last however many months COVID's been around, reaching out to departments individually, reaching out to individuals, going on responses still when we're called in, so your team has not stopped. Want to let you know about a few things we've got going on. We're continuing to update our curriculum. We always want it to be at the top, the best, everything that we can offer our people in the state and out of state. Working with the Fire Academy and looking forward to getting on track with that. Of course, we also work with health care clinicians on each program. We just finished a 2-day peer training program here. We trained 11 people, and it didn't really matter if any of them joined the team. A couple of them will, but they're going to take it home to their departments. So I'd encourage you to learn more about behavioral health and how we can make a difference in our daily routine in our own departments. We're starting back next month with start the conversation about suicide. It was going pretty well right before COVID hit, and so it had to slow down and stop. So we'll be in Clarendon. Y'all talk to Clarendon. They're doing some really good stuff here lately. We're glad to be involved with them for it. Make sure you go to scfast.org. There's a good bit of information there, resources there, a lot of different things that you can see. You can keep track of the trainings that are upcoming. You can reach out for information to us. You can apply to be on the team. And come by, we're going to be in the association booth right out here and learn more about the classes we have, learn more about the team members in your area. And we're excited to be working with a group called Peer Connect, and they'll be here with us, and I'd love for you to come by and see how that works. So as we go through and learn more and continue to work with them, you'll be ahead of the game with us. Thank you.
That's one team I didn't want to be busy, but I tell you, this year it seemed like every couple of days they're getting a text from Patty. So thank you for what y'all have done too for our firefighters across the state. Next up, Foundation, Trey Axton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just really brief, I wanted to say that yesterday we were able to have our first fundraiser since the start of COVID. Despite being 2 o'clock in Columbia, everybody seemed to have a good time. It was nice and warm for everybody, but a good turnout and a good time by everyone that was there. Remember, Foundation t-shirts are next to the registration booth out front. Please pick up one that supports our firefighters. This year, in spite of COVID, we were able to help 4 members that were in need of help, and we were able to do 2 scholarships for members that want to continue their fire service education. There will be one small fundraiser at our booth if you want to go by there. I know where I'm at, so I'll be careful with this, but there is an orange hat that's signed by Dabo Sweeney and Danny Ford. If you want to go by and bid on that in the auction or see it at the association booth. And finally, just remember, these fundraiser efforts benefit you, the members. So if you have an idea for a local one or a state one, please contact me or someone at the office and pass it on and let us get that moving. And this only benefits what we can do for us in the future. Thank you, Mr. President. That's my report.
As always, appreciate it and support your foundation. It comes back to you, the members of the fire service. All right, at this time, before we move into bylaws, we're going to take a short 5-minute break. 5-minute break. I got 15:07, 3:07. I'll start the clock. We'll take a 5-minute break and set up for the next transition in bylaws. When you return, please, delegates, first 3 rows. Delegates, please take the first 3 rows. 5 minutes.
They
All right, if we can get back and start finding our seats, 5 minutes. I'll give everybody about a 30 seconds to a minute window to get back to your seat, please. Delegates on the first 3 rows. If anybody's in the hallway, please announce that we're fixing to get started. For delegates, please come back. Anybody's invited, all members, but we want delegates on the first 3 rows. All right, last call. We're fixing to get back started. Anybody in the hallway? At this time, I'd like to get Jason Pope, Bylaws Chair, to come forward with the report from the bylaws.
Well, good afternoon. It's good to see everybody. Came back after the break. I think Charlie will be joining us up here at the podium here in just a minute. But what I want to tell you is the work that you have before you, the bylaws, the proposed bylaws changes, are 2 years worth of work. So I want to thank Brian Christmas from Sumter Fire. I know he's here today. He was chair last year of this committee, and so a lot of these changes, probably half the work, their committee did, and they were planning to bring them to y'all, to the membership, last year's conference. Of course, we didn't have one last year, so what you see here is 2 years worth of work. I also want to thank our other committee members, all of which are present today. Will Vinay from Ladies Island, Mike Lancaster from Southside and Union County, Pierce Womack from Pickens County, and Charles Lamoureux from St. Andrews. They've worked diligently. We made the Zoom meetings, I think, for the first part of the year, and then we joined back up in person and looked at the bylaws as a whole and did a lot of work. And so I hope you came in here today educated, informed, looked at the document that's been sent out to the departments. But before we kind of look at the content, I just want to highlight a few changes and then offer a brief explanation of each, just to kind of give you some background, kind of let you know where we were coming from, where the committee was coming from, and then give you an opportunity to ask questions. Again, our committee members are here. I encourage you to ask. If you have a question, I want you to ask about it. And then I may call on some of them to help provide some background and some explanation. But so first I'll say several edits that we made that you'll see on the screen today, we actually will describe as Scrivener's errors, and they will be highlighted in purple as we go through the document. And we apologize, we didn't get those caught before we actually mailed out the official document, but you'll see those highlighted in purple, and none of those changes directly affect the content of the document. So we're just asking you to work with us on that and accept those changes. But the highlights, the important things, the meat of it is what I want to go over. And again, our committee will be here to help answer some other questions. So first, a big change is in terminology. You'll notice in the proposed bylaws that we are changing the term delegate to the term voting member. This is really just a change in terminology, okay? It doesn't really affect the content, but what we do believe is that it better reflects your responsibility as a voting member, better describes what we're asking you to do and your responsibility. Second thing I want to highlight is that we have added a requirement for each member fire department to select their voting members by January 1 of each year, which if you know, if you're the one who does your reporting, your 1% reporting for the association, you know it's the same timeline as your, all your reports are due and your dues are due, so it's the exact same timeline. Now, this language is added here, this requirement is designed to strengthen your voting privileges as members, okay? It's designed to give you more of a voice. We struggle every year getting delegates registered to vote. I don't know how many there were this year, but there's a potential of over 1,000 delegates every year. I think at best we may have had 400. So Rick is, yeah, okay. So we're not even getting half, okay? Half of the people are not, their voice is not being heard. So this language, this requiring you to do this is going to strengthen your voice in this association. If we've learned anything over the past year is that we've learned we can do a lot of things using online platforms. And so just like we've been using SurveyMonkey now for some odd years to vote for fourth vice president, by selecting your voting members by January 1 of each year, your members will be able to vote on important issues throughout the year and not just at the annual conference. We definitely see that as a potential in the future where items will come before the members between conferences. And so if the voting members are in place, you will have the opportunity to vote and have your voice heard. The association staff is committed to working with their the member management system, the developers, to make it easy for you to do this. So when you're logging in at that time of the year to do your expenditure forms or your budget or your board of trustees, it'll just be another thing for you to do there is to go select your voting members. The point is they want to make it easy for you to do this. We don't want anybody to wake up on January 2nd and say, oh, I forgot to do this, and then you'll be in danger of losing your membership. No, they're going to make it very easy for you to select these members in the database and have your voice there. The good thing about it is if you select them on January 1, the deadline, you can still change them. Okay, if you have to make changes to your voting members during the year, you can still do that. So that's not a final thing there for you to do. So we'll definitely be working with you on that. Third item I want to mention or want to highlight is you'll see several changes in related to the vice president's job duties. What you'll see in the proposed bylaws has currently the first vice president does not have a committee assignment. So what you'll see here is that with these changes, he or she will be chairing the Finance and Audit Committee. The third vice president will chair the Advisory Committee, and the fourth vice president will rotate through committees to better get an understanding of the association operations. So they will not have a committee assignment, they will rotate through. If you've ever been on the board, you know that first year as a fourth vice president is overwhelming sometimes. So we think this change will really help those board members as they ascend through the chairs. Lastly, we have added language that will allow the fourth vice president to automatically ascend the chairs. And if we were to poll all of you in the audience or poll an average association member, you would probably say that you thought that process was already in place. That you thought that when somebody got voted in to fourth vice president, then they just automatically went through. And that's what most people thought. However, if you look at the current bylaws, technically that's not true. Technically, each vice president has to run every year and be elected. So this language that we've offered clarifies how a person ascends the chairs and makes it pretty clear. Those are the main highlights. That is not everything. Okay, that's not everything that's in the document. Okay, we added some language about how an officer, an elected officer, gets removed from office if they're misbehaving. Okay, you can read those in that section. And so there are other minor things, but so that's not an exhaustive list. That's some highlights. But I want to pause for a minute and just ask: are there questions that you have, things that you want a deeper explanation on? Is there anything you want to know more about at this point? If you do, what we'll ask you to do is come to a microphone and state your name and your fire department, so we can try to help answer your questions. And they have a, that's right. And if you do have a copy, thank you. Charlie just reminded me, if you have a question about a specific line, please have the line number so we can be on the same page with you and display it. So please rise and be recognized. I can't see everybody here. The lights are kind of bright, but I'll do my best. Any questions? Any feedback? Now's the time to ask. I think this is a lot of good work that's gone into this. I know I've answered some questions since we announced these things and tried to provide some background, but anyone else? Does anybody have anything? Everybody's being quiet. Y'all are ready for this meeting to be over? I don't hear anything. Are you good? If we don't have any major questions or anybody have anything they want to say, I mean, I would be happy if we could entertain a motion from the floor. I hear a motion somewhere. Could you rise so we can know who you are if we make a motion? Sorry, I'm sorry. Question first.
I was willing to do that from the mic, but there's two gentlemen ahead of me. If they'd rather do it, have their record, it's fine with me. I will relinquish the mic at the time. All right, if not.
We get hand raised, sir. Would you come to the mic? We can know who you are. Just give us your name and fire department, please.
Sean Johnson, Midland Valley Fire Department. Make a motion to accept.
You want to make that motion to accept all the changes as presented?
Correct.
Okay, I have a motion to accept all the changes as presented. Do I have a second to that motion?
Joe Palmer, Delegate Friendly Fire Department, Newberry County, second.
Second that motion. Motion's made to accept the changes as presented as a whole. We have that motion has been properly seconded. Do we have any discussion at this point? Do we have any discussion? I'll ask one more time. Any discussion? Hearing none. That motion passes. Sorry. Any discussion? Vote, please. Thank you. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. The motion's been made, it's been seconded, there's been no discussion. Can I get a vote? Please vote by, what are we saying, raising hand? All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed, like sign. Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Jason. I know bylaws had a hard year of working back and forth. We appreciate you combing through the documents and bringing that forth to members. At this time, I ask, are there any old business? Any old business? Hearing none, any old business? Hearing no old business, any new business? I do have two things under new business if I don't hear anything from the group. First and foremost, under new business, please check out the website. The new website is up and running. It is good to go. We've had a lot of work and energy put into our new website. We knew and we heard the members talk about how the old site, you had to click more than once to get somewhere, or as Rick would say, you had to Google to find what you wanted. But we have the new website up. We thank Rick, Brick, and Brooke and the team of making that happen. So please check out the new website. $37 was our partners that helped design the website. Absolutely. Thank you, Rick, for correcting me. So please go to the website, still same scfirefighters.org, but check it out and let us know, give us feedback. Hopefully that website is new and improved and good for you to use. Next on the new business, I'd like to offer John Jones, who is asked to have a few minutes at the podium for fourth Vice President candidacy.
Good afternoon. My name is John Jones. I'm a battalion chief with West Columbia Fire Department. What I love most about the fire service is we are the antithesis of what the rest of the world does. When the world experiences trauma, they look away in horror and disgust. We see an opportunity to start the healing process. When fire ravages a structure threatening lives and property, the world runs away in fear and self-preservation. We see an opportunity to step in, make a difference, potentially save lives and property. As most of you know and have experienced, the last 2 years has been unprecedented. We have faced things that we never thought we would. And as the world looks to recover and make sense of everything that happens, once more we have the opportunity to show our distinction. That's why I can never consider this a job. And I think more of it, far more of it than a career. For the men and women who serve, this is a calling. And for those that look to answer the call, I want to serve you as fourth Vice President. Together, and with the help of the Great Association, we can look to chart a path and answer the question, what does it mean to be in the fire service in the 21st century? Now, I can stand up here and I can, lay out different agendas and I can make promises, but the simple fact would be that wouldn't be genuine. That wouldn't be true. In fact, I only have one agenda. That is you. I will work tirelessly. I look forward to meeting all of you and answering questions, asking questions to find out just what it is that you need. What are the things that we suffer from? What are the barriers in our way in this fire service? So I invite you to come on this journey with me. I appreciate your vote for fourth Vice President, and if you do not, I thank you for your service anyway. Thank you.
All right, I made a mistake. I need to call up Rick Dunn for the website. I spoke too quick about the website. She'll turn the mic over to Rick.
I do, and Keith pretty much hit a lot of it, and just to let you know is President Minnick, along with our executive committee, asked us to really look at the website this year. And some of those comments were about the usability, the effectiveness of what we had. And we searched across the state. Brick and myself met with a number of organizations, companies to help us with that. And a phenomenal company, 37 Gears. Alexis and Tom are phenomenal. They're very professional, very responsive. Thrilled with that. And this morning at 9 o'clock, it went live. So our new website is up and available. I'm going to make this very short. Really, we had from our stakeholders meetings, which include the executive committee, Leadership Institute classes, our staff, and several other people. We just want to know what you needed in that on a new website from the Firefighter Association. From that, really, there was four main things: to enforce the mission, values, and vision of the association, to build that foundation of a hub of information where it's a place for you to come. It's a destination, a place for you to get the information you need, not just about the association, but also about the state's fire service. It was to inform you as members and the general public of information concerning fire and emergency services, and finally to improve that overall usability and mobile device experience. And that's what you're going to see more than anything else out of this new website from us. It's huge. I will tell you right now, there are so many things on there because something important to everyone is different than the other person. But the one thing you're going to find is its searchability and usability is phenomenal. Now, right now, you can be lost as you can be, because I get lost and I've been involved in it for 3 months or longer. So just understand that. So thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, and give us feedback if you need it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Rick. Any other new business? Hearing none. How's everybody feel? Come on, let's get it. How's everybody feel? All right, we're going to get pumped up, re-energized. I'm re-energized. I'm ready to tie up with somebody, and let's get moving. Let's get moving in the right direction. Stay focused, accountable, and let's stay true to the mission. So I appreciate everybody being here today. I know this is not the most sexiest thing we have to do, but it is the right thing we have to do, is be here in this room to handle business with our association, your association. So we're going to have a good weekend. Hope to see you out and about. Again, if I hadn't met you, come see me throughout the weekend, and I'd love to meet you. So thank you. Be safe, enjoy, and have a good night. Good evening.